All right, we're on. There we go. We're live. Air EnB is back. Okay,
Yes,
October
sir.
27th. What's going on, Earl?
What's going on, Brett? Yeah, man, excited to be back, dude. It's been a long time, man. Almost 2 months, right?
Yeah, we have to explain why, though.
Well, besides the fact that it's the dog days of summer, man. It's just not a lot of sports to talk about at that time until football really kind of took off, and then of course the first week of football I was out in Europe doing a little vacationing. Went out to London and Croatia, and while out there, I got engaged. So. We're kind of in the process of just figuring out all the wedding stuff and just getting my life in order. But yeah, the first 2-3 weeks of
Congrats.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. First weeks with NFL season was spent traveling around and not being able to watch a bunch of football, man. But I'm excited to be back. It's fall time. It's it's the basketball season's just starting up. We got World Series happening right now. Woo! Playoffs is going to be starting, matter of weeks for football. So it's an exciting time right now.
Yeah, and then on my side, you did, I think it was week 3 or week 2 or something like that. You did want to do it, but I couldn't because I had I pulled my hamstring, and so it was old injury from squatting, came back, and. What are you gonna do? So
yeah, you get an old, man. You get an old. That's what it is.
No. I'm gonna take a quote from Charles Barkley. Okay.
All right.
He said, "Remember when Tracy McGrady was saying this nonsense at 32 that his best or 31 that his best years was behind him?"
Yep.
And Charles Barkley was like, "Man, from age 27 to 33, you are bulletproof."
Yeah. And it's right though, man. I hear him.
I'm telling
you, man. Yeah. So I'm excited. We're back.
And then on top of that, this morning for hours, the power cut out here.
So what happened with that? What's going on with that?
No idea, but down the block, all the way, which is I live on a main road, all the way down the main road, there was no stoplight, none of that stuff. Yeah. I had to do something early in the morning. I got the flashlight on my phone, getting yourself together.
Love it.
Got 2 candles together.
Old school style, man. Love it.
The dual candle. So, of course, we couldn't do anything then. So, we're ready to go now. We are back. And we should be doing every week until the end of the football season, right?
I see no reason why not to.
Okay. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. What do you want to start with? And once again, congratulations on the engagement. Wedding, as you told me today, is in April. Was there any significance to April, and what's the day?
You know what? Nah, it's it really just kind of worked out, and so we've kind of at one point we were thinking about doing a destination wedding down in like Mexico, and just felt like that was just gonna be too much and just a lot of moving parts for some people. We have a lot of friends right now that are in the process of family planning, thinking about having kids. That would just kind of cut down the amount of people that came. And it's an expensive trip, and not everybody can also make that. So
yeah, you probably wouldn't see me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So we just decided to do a little smaller ceremony in City Hall, dude. And there's really no significance to the 26th. It's just April's a good time of year out here. Least amount of potential of rain. It's fairly warm. It's going to be about 65 or 70, hopefully. So we just figured April will be a perfect time of year to do it. So,
well, I can't wait to get on that plane. I can't wait to go down to the Bay.
Yes, sir. Maybe catch a Warriors game. You never know.
Whoa! Yeah. Wait, but is she letting you out? Are you going to be allowed to hang out with your boy?
That's right, man. I mean, yeah, just we got enough time. You come out here on Wednesday, we can do something, but Thursday on is going to be family, friends, and try to get everything all settled up for the wedding. But yeah, man, we'll talk about that, but yeah, I'm excited for all the new stuff that's happening, so
we're going to be talking about it on the show. Okay, so if I come early, Warriors game
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we hitting some drinks or whatever.
Yes, you know it, you know it. But I got it. I guess Wars is going to be the only time, only sports happening at that point, right? Because it's too early for baseball. But yeah, it's going to be the Warriors' last season in Oakland, so that should be fun because they're moving over to their new stadium in San Francisco next year. So that should be that's going to be a good time, man. It's always a good time at the Oracle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the new stadium's coming together really nicely. So.
Oh
Yes,
man,
sir.
I'm gonna have a good time. I'm getting too
Yes, sir.
excited. I'm getting excited over here, man. I gotta get my Steph Curry jersey.
Yes, yes,
We
sir.
gotta get
Yes,
it
sir.
in.
Draymond
Okay.
Green, all in boys. You know it.
Draymond's dirty, but anyway.
I like the hard nosed players, man. I like the way he plays with a chip on his shoulder, man. But yeah, he is dirty sometimes. So.
All right, so you want to? All right, let's just first get the World Series out of the way because
let's talk about the World Series, man.
Let's get that out of the way. First of all, so your Yankees didn't come through. I'm happy as can be. me as the hating Met fan that I am.
The haterade is strong.
Is it ever? Is it ever? Man, I'm telling you, I was on the couch like it was my team. Come on, Betts. Betts, come on now. Let's go. Benintendi, let's do it. We out here now. Let's do it. And the way they defended that outfield made me proud, man.
Yeah, listen. And kudos to the Red Sox, man. I mean, you talk about one of the hottest teams in baseball all year. I mean, to win 108 games, that's not chump change. And so these guys were hot all year. The pitching's amazing. To me, their outfielders are just absolutely, amazing outfielders between Benintendi and Mookie Betts. Bradley's a great defensive center fielder for them. So, I mean, all the parts that they have together are great parts itself, So, while I was sad to see my Yankees lose, I will say that they are young enough and will have enough experience to kind of get back there. But I think it's good for them to kind of feel that burn, so to speak, because that is the fire that's going to kind of motivate them next year. And I think you had a lot of injuries this year with Stanton. I guess he was fairly healthy, but he was playing through some, I want to say some hamstring injuries this year. Sanchez had the groin. I think Judge was out. What was that for? The broken wrist for a little bit. So there was definitely a lot of pieces that were missing that weren't whole for the whole season. So I'm looking at it as like if the Yankees get another starting pitcher, we have the ability to be where the Red Sox are now. And I will say I'm not really interested in whoever wins this World Series, but I will say that whatever team will win is, obviously a team that I feel that the Yankees could have taken out on either end, but neither here nor there. Whoever wins, kudos to that team.
Yeah, I stayed up to 3 a.m. last night, and then I had to tap out because I had to do stuff in the morning, and it was getting late. Like I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, and baseball, they got ball, strike, and then reset. You're gonna take a time, and then all that, but it was so intense. It was so good. It was one of the best games that I've seen in so long. But when it hit the 16th, I didn't
realize it went that far because I remember I stopped watching at the 11th, I think. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do anymore. Like I see, wow. So that's amazing.
Wait, you tapped out in the 11th. You're 3 hours behind.
I know. But the thing is about baseball, man, if it's not unlike football. Yeah, and it's very local, right? It's a very local sport. You support your team. It's basketball, football are a little different, where there's interest in kind of the other sport, the other teams, because one, the fantasy aspect of it, but really just the interest overall in the game. And I love baseball, and like you said, it's a slow game, and it can be hard to watch. I
will say I was into it though. Even though it's slow, it's just, that type of, lagging, you start nodding. But Evaldi, oh my gosh. Evaldi put on a show yesterday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah, it went 18 innings. When it went into the 17th, I say, you know what? This can go to 20 innings. I mean, I don't know how long this can go. So
I mean, yeah, you start talking about you started talking about position players starting to pitch at that point, man. That's how bad that is, So
yeah, they had the catcher Vasquez at first base. But he had good hands. He had a grab, Anyway, so it's entertaining. The hater in me wants the Red Sox to win.
Okay.
So the Yankee fans get mad, of course, because they can't stand it. Okay. So especially because they knocked them off and still won. See, Yankee fans secretly want the Red Sox to lose, even if they don't say it, because they I don't care. I don't care. Yes, you do care. You have an emotion towards it. And anybody in general wants the team who knocked them off to lose.
I'm always in a different mindset where it's like, listen, if you're going to beat my team, make sure you just win it all the way, because I do feel like if we were to beat the Red Sox in that series, we would have had the opportunity to beat the Dodgers as well too. That's just what I think. But to say, I won't go as far as saying that I would want Boston to win. But I feel like if you're going to beat the Yankees, then my preference would be for you to go ahead and take it all the way. That's just my thought.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know I'm in a different mindset from everybody else. That's just from my angle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not sure how much I believe you, but all right.
All right.
But you know what? But last night though, I wanted the Dodgers to win because I wanted it to be a good series. It's been a whole hum, and now they get to extend it. And once it went into those extra innings, I said, let's have the Dodgers win. Let's do it. Let's get a good series going. So it should be good tonight. They're on at 8:09.
Oh gosh. Yeah, they kill me with these start times, right?
Yeah, it was, it's like the old TBS, the 6:06,
Yeah, I know. It's like, what is that about? Right.
At least I understood that it was 6 minutes of commercials at the top of the hour, but 9, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so what do you want to get into now? We got to do NFL, right?
I feel like we do have to do NFL, man. Last week I had the real opportunity of kind of watching the Giants. Well, I guess, okay. So I've only had 2 opportunities to watch them start to finish. And I got to tell you that it's tough. It's really hard to watch sometimes because there's a lot of holes in this team. And you're talking about 3, 4, 5 years of poor drafting has really left a lot of holes on this team. And so this is the manifestation of poor drafts. You're seeing the product on the field right now. And you have a lot of talent on the outside, but you got an Eli Manning that can't get the ball to them. So, and whether it's his lack of escapability and being able to kind of create his own plays outside of pocket, or if it's this poor O-line that still has yet had an opportunity to gel. I'm not sure what the answer is, and I'm sure it's a combination of both. Me personally, that I'm a critic of Eli Manning. I applaud him for his 2 Super Bowls in the past, but there's been time and time again where even after a great showing in the playoffs one year, they don't make the playoffs for consecutive years, sometimes 2, 3, 4 seasons at a time. And so I just think that's an issue, and it's not maybe attributed directly to Eli Manning, but it also plays upon that he's not the kind of a quarterback. Like, for instance, you look at Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not currently, but also of all time. And when you look at it, I feel like he's able to make the most out of with the least parts. So you look at Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is an okay running back, wide receiver, but he's not in the same league as like an Odell Beckham. Or, could you say he's a better player than Sterling Shepard? Probably you can say that right now. But again, he has a lot of pieces around him that they don't support him well enough. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is still going to give you the best chance to win. And I just don't feel like Eli can do that for his team. And I think Eli, with him, it works out well when all the other parts are great, right? So the defense, if you limit how much the other team is on the field, like, controlling time and possession. That's where Eli excels, because it's like, okay, I'm able to, kind of work within the game plan and, go out and win this by not just being conservative and not turn the ball over. Now when you're talking about, okay, now he's got to evade pass rushing for 3 quarters because they know that they're not going to be able to run block. It becomes a messy game plan, because now we're not playing into his strength, because we're asking him to stick in the pocket, take hits, or escape out of the pocket and make a play. And we know that's not his game.
Yeah, comparing Aaron Rodgers to Eli, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest all time. Eli is a great quarterback in that, first of all, he's top 10 in yards and I believe touchdowns as well. And he's one of the best fourth quarter quarterbacks ever, including being in the top 2 or 3 in fourth quarter touchdowns and comebacks and what have you. So the guy is absolutely sensational. And he has the one thing that his brother doesn't have, and the one thing that many great regular season quarterbacks have, or exceptionally good regular season quarterbacks have, and that is what's going on over there.
Oh, just stretch it out, man. I'm telling you, getting old. I'm feeling the knees.
That's funny. That's funny. I just stretched my knees over here too.
That's funny.
He has the ability that when the game is on the line, crunch time, Eli is if Peyton had Eli's ability, Peyton would be the greatest ever, no doubt. And you know what? You mentioned Aaron Rodgers, right? The guy Aaron Rodgers took over for, Brett Favre, when he was in a big game in the playoffs, NFC Championship, 2008, it would have been 2007, 2008 season, when they beat that undefeated Patriots. What happened? He lost to the man. He lost to Eli. He lost to our guy. What happened in 2011, that season when they won the second one? What happened when he faced Aaron Rodgers? He beat him.
Listen,
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. When you don't have an offensive line for any quarterback, they're not going to be good. I don't care if it's Steve Young. I don't care if it's Rodgers. I don't care. Prescott. I don't care who you're talking about that can get out there. Michael Vick. These guys are going untouched to Eli. What do you want him to do? He has to drop. But when they give him time, like in the Texans game, when they give him time, like in the Carolina game, when they give him time, like they did for a few possessions on Monday night against the Falcons, when he hit Shepard down there for 50 yards and he made a long pass to Beckham, what happened? He gets the throw. He's not showing me that he can't make these throws. He's showing me that you need a running game, which they didn't have for a few years after Bradshaw, because the guy David Wilson, he had the spinal stenosis, and that was it. And they're juggling all these running backs. They brought back Brandon Jacobs and old Jacobs. They didn't have any running game. And, what do you want him to do? You need an O-line and you need a running game.
Yeah.
The defense, of course, that's great. You can get to the other quarterback. But on the offensive side, the guy, we already know the guy's not mobile. But when he was winning championships, he wasn't mobile then, but he had protection. So he brought you to the promised land twice. And you know what? He's one of only 5 quarterbacks ever to have 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And the other 4 is Manning, Montana, Brady, Starr, Bradshaw.
I know, and this is where it kind of gets back into that whole messy conversation. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes.
And that's something I got to look at his career with a grain of salt, man. Because all right. So besides those 2 Super Bowls, what you
can't just except for the biggest games any player ever played, he was the best player in those 2 games. Let's throw that aside. No.
Okay.
I showed you the company that he's in.
Yeah, I get that, and I hear that, and I hear that. I just they say numbers don't lie, but I think when you start doing bigger analysis of what those numbers really mean, it's just really it gets really dicey for me, man. I just don't know if like Eli Manning, besides again the throw to Tyree, great play, will last in the time of history. Okay, but let's just think about it like this. Outside of those Super Bowls, does he have any other memorable plays, any other moments where you say, you know what, Eli really took that game over and he really dominated and showed why he was a Hall of Fame player?
Yeah, the 3 games leading up to the Super Bowl in both Super Bowls.
Okay, right. Okay.
He beat, he beat Green Bay on the road. He beat Dallas. Okay, he beat San Francisco.
Okay.
These were I mean.
So you're saying eight playoff games are what you're saying. You're basing your assessment of him being a Hall of Famer. Because that's what I'm hearing.
No. Then you didn't hear me, because I also told you he's top 10 in yards, he's top 10 in touchdowns, and he's how could I forget? Earl, you about to get me tight in here? Okay,
games played.
Rowdy
Is that what
B,
you're gonna tell me?
Okay, how did I forget that he is the most durable quarterback in the history of the sport? And you know what? That number would have kept going if it wasn't for McAdoo, who was trying to save his job and say, you know what? We've been losing these games because of Eli Manning.
Yep.
Let's put in Geno Vick and we're gonna start winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof, that whole.
All right. I'm bringing a lot to the table right now.
I know.
And
go ahead.
And also, no, go ahead. I already put on the table. And then on top of that, the fourth quarters. He's one of the most excellent fourth quarter quarterbacks, man. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm telling you, I've seen him. He's in the top 2 or 3 for fourth quarter, either touchdowns, comebacks, or both. And don't quote me on it, but you could quote me on the other 4 things that I brought up, which was the Super Bowl MVPs, the yards, the touchdowns, and the durability, which we both already know. Right. The guy's more durable than Brett Favre and has won 2 more. Okay, the guy's more durable than Brett Favre. He's a better clutch quarterback than Brett Favre because Favre would throw an into in the clutch, okay, like he did against the Giants anyway.
Right.
Okay, and he's got 1 more Super Bowl MVP than Favre. Okay, and are we saying that Brett Favre's not a Hall of Famer? We don't even think about it.
Yeah, listen.
If Favre's a Hall of Famer, Eli is.
Okay,
and Eli beat him head to head.
So is your criteria saying that? So the durability, the Super Bowl wins, that basically for you encompasses a Hall of Fame career. If you think about all the years that we've missed out on the playoffs, the
yards, the touchdowns, the only thing that's going to.
But the yards is like it's an accumulation thing. It's like, of course, you play all those years. I just think about it like this, man. And it's always like this argument. Stat compilers aren't the same thing as great players. And I just feel like there's a lot of people who are just like looking at the numbers and say, yeah, that person was there. Or that person did this and that. Stat compilers are different. Like I think about a player, and I know I'm going back to a different sport. Dominique Wilkins is the perfect example. Dominique Wilkins is a great player, but Dominique Wilkins was definitely a stat compiler, for sure. He never really excelled at the highest level. And so I think about it like,
hold on. You gotta, I mean, yeah, you can't compare sports, but what do you mean he compiled great stats every year? What do you mean?
Yeah, because there was nobody else around him so pretty much he was the only show in town, right, to kind of do that. I'm just saying he never had the type of playoff success that you would want from a great player or a player of his stature.
You just said it. He didn't have great players around him. That's why he didn't go far. But he was not the problem. The guy was 22, 23 points per game, no problem. And he also has one of the most memorable games in the history of the NBA playoffs when he went back to back with Bird when they had those 2 40-point games where it was just shot. They call it the shootout.
Yeah.
Listen, Dominique is a Hall of Famer. There's nothing.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just thinking about, if we wanted to, measure his greatness. Okay. If you want to measure his greatness against, let's say, like you said, people of his era, right? Bird, Jordan, some of those guys who maybe won more championships, won a lot more and more crunch time situations. I just think about, again, Dominique Wilkins is a great player, but he just doesn't really hold a candle to those guys. I'd even say Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas were even better players than both of them, not just because of the championships, but just kind of the effect that they had on the NBA at that time.
Isaiah, no doubt. Joe Dumars, no. But Joe Dumars was a better – I mean, Joe Dumars didn't even get on the top 50. But I think that was nonsense because Bill Walton was on there, which he had no business being there. It's only because they like him. And Bill Walton's another one that shouldn't be a Hall of Famer at all. He injured more games than he played.
Well, right. What was it, 7 seasons, 8 seasons maybe he had?
Yeah, I don't even think he played that much. You had the first 2 seasons in Portland. The second one they had they were winning. They already won like 50 games or something like that, and he got injured and was out. This was the year after they won the NBA championship in '77. So the 78, 79 season, whatever. And then it was just nothing but injuries. And then he was on the I think the Clippers, the San Diego Clippers, and he didn't play much there. And then he went to Boston, and he played 1 season in '86, which was one of the greatest teams ever. He got 6th Man of the Year. They won the championship, and that was it. They beat the Houston Rockets.
Bill Walton has 2 chips. For some reason, I thought he only had the one in Portland.
No, he's got the one in '86. But then '87 season – with the Celtics, that was it, and the Celtics were old, and that was that. But to diverge, you're trying to say that Eli is kind of getting the Craig Biggio rule, where Craig Biggio compiled a lot of stats. But I totally disagree because in baseball you can get stat compilers. In football, where you get hit, and Eli played before the changing of these rules. So Eli got hammered. He took hits, okay? You got to understand, quarterback is not a position that people play a long time. I mean, this guy has been playing this position since my freshman year. Well, since I was in college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this guy played with Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah.
He played with Armstead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Eli's been playing a long time, so he compiled, excellent numbers. But I mean, you can't say. I mean, it's almost like taken away from Jerry Rice. It's like, Jerry Rice played a long time. He was on the Oakland Raiders. He was on the Broncos. So we can't count his yardage and his touchdowns. We can't do that because he played a long time, and that's a position that you can play a long time.
For me, it was just more like Eli leaves a lot to be desired, right? You think about like how many seasons where it's like he's had 30 touchdowns with less than half of those being interceptions, right? So it's like if we look at his numbers, and I don't have my stats in front of me, how many seasons he had with 30 touchdowns and less than half, and less than 15 interceptions. It's really hard.
I was just going to say the 2013 season, it was crazy like that.
Yeah.
It was two seasons in a row where he had, he had so many interceptions. But you know what? That was the turnover of talent, and he didn't play well. And so it led to that. But hey, in that many years, you're allowed to have a couple bad years. I mean, listen, is he a great regular season quarterback? No.
Yeah.
Is he a great postseason quarterback? Just look at 2 years ago when he faced Aaron Rodgers again. He was the best player on that field. You just had Beckham and Cruz and Shepard missing passes all over the field in that playoff game. Eli was unbelievable, and so was the defense.
Yep. Okay. I hear you, man. It's one of those things.
I got a question for you.
Please go ahead.
All right. Do you think the Giants made a good decision in drafting Barkley, or you think they should have went with Sam Darnold?
I think they did because, all right, so let's think about it like this. If we're saying the issue that the Giants are having is based off their poor offensive lineman play, then what difference would it make if you're putting a younger quarterback behind that offensive line if it's just as poor. I think if you look at the first few games that Barkley has played, I think it's just amazing how much talent this kid has in terms of being able to create for himself. You look at a couple of plays where he's been able to kind of break on the outside and just kind of just take it to the house. I think it just shows tremendous ability on this kid to really just perform at a high level, right? And if you think about it, they even give him anything, any semblance of an offensive line, if they were just able to get a couple of bodies that can just hold a block off for a few seconds, this guy's going to be lethal. And I do think it was the right decision because honestly, there's not going to be a young quarterback that's going to be able to play behind this line any better than Eli's playing right now. It's just really not. And it wouldn't be fair to throw a young quarterback back there, say, you know what, kid, go ahead and save us. So yes, it is the right decision. There wasn't somebody there that I can say like, oh, you know, I wish we would have got this player. Sure. Would I have loved to see another offensive line player come in? Absolutely. But again, there wasn't somebody not that high. Exactly.
Not that high. You know, and we're on the same page because there's going to be other quarterbacks besides Darnold. So we're on the same page there. And Barkley, he is so can't miss. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. And you touch right on it. Imagine if he had a legit offensive. Imagine him behind the Dallas offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
could
absolutely.
you imagine? This guy would average 6 and 7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it would be insane. His balance is amazing. His speed, his breakaway ability. Just for him to kind of take another hit and just keep on his feet, man. It's just it's a fun thing to watch. His catching ability. I don't think they raved enough about this kid. Honestly, I think he's got talent to be. Obviously, like they said, Hall of Famer, one of the best to play the running back positions.
I was all in favor of when you draft that high, you got to go quarterback or trade down. But people kept telling me, Barkley, you don't understand. And I don't watch college football like that. Mm-hmm. You know, I pay attention before the draft to the players, the high, you know, top players, but you know, you can't watch everything. That's the thing, you know, like, you know, I watch NBA, MLB, UFC, Bellator. I watch WWE. I'm missing a couple more sports that I watch.
This is not enough time, right? It's
not enough time, you know, and you're going to see these players. I mean, the other thing is, how many people do they rave about that come out like Peter Warwick? I heard so much, he's going to be the greatest wide receiver known to man. And they come out and they don't do anything. What about, you know, so it's like, you really can't always judge. You know, if you see an Andrew Luck, you know, if you see a Sam Darnold, which I was so high on, you know that these guys are going to be something. You know, remember Steve Slayton, I think his name was, from Michigan. Remember that guy? He didn't. He only fumbled like once in college entirely, and then he got drafted. He went to the NFL. He went to the Texans, and I think another team.
I think I do remember. Yeah. Okay.
And he fumbled like a few times, and then you never heard from the guy again. It's like it's hard to, you know. So I just look at the top players and do, you know, college basketball. I'm getting more into now, especially I watch the tournament every year, but you know, I don't really see stuff. So I looked at the highlights of Barkley. And I said, you know what? I love just what you mentioned, his catching ability, particularly 15 and 20 yards downfield, where he's just taking it and moving. And I said, whoa, we thought Shane Vereen was something. Mm-hmm. We thought a couple other players, you know, we thought LaDainian Tomlinson was something
different.
Man,
just different.
Perfect for this offense. So that's why I was all in favor, and I changed and went to Barkley.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, you mentioned it as well too, and I think the difference is that with like LT and some of the other pass catching running backs in the past, they were really just like guys that were just dumping the ball off to. There's been several instances where Barkley has did some impressive route running, and even you remember probably 3 weeks ago where he kind of jumps up, catches a ball over the cornerback, and you know, just perfect catch with his hands in the air and lands perfectly. It's like a 20-yard, 25-yard pass. And it's just like, man, like there's not. I mean, again, there's not a lot of running backs that can make that play. There's not a lot of wide receivers that could have probably made that play over the cornerback. So it's just he's talented, he's strong, he's smart, he's humble. And I think I like his overall influence on OBJ because I think at the end of the day, like Barkley's the kind of player that will excel in this New York City market. You know, we really like players that. I mean, we like a little bit of flash, but we really like button up players. We like corporate. We like Wall Street players, right? We think about the players who really excel in these markets, right? A Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter wasn't getting caught up in mess, right? But he was also known for somebody as like being very personable, good-looking guy. Somebody's going to be able to handle himself in a boardroom meeting and just in all different various facets of life. And I just think about Barkley's kind of the same player, man. If he keeps his head straight, he's not going to be this like prima donna. It's like sitting. He's like the anti-OBJ. And I just think that he excels in this role, and he's going to excel being the face of the franchise in a few years. And where hopefully they can kind of get some semblance of a quarterback to play after Eli is going to have to retire in a few years, right? So
Yep, you're absolutely right. And let's move on. So next we have NFL, and then we have NBA, and that will be it for this show. And of course, we're going to be back strong. We're going to be doing the NFL predictions and for the week and everything like that. So we'll be back next week. We'll probably do a Saturday or Sunday. We'll see what's up. Most likely a Sunday before the game, but we'll see. So tomorrow's games. So they have a 9:30 game tomorrow. Jags.
Oh man.
Yeah, I forgot about it. I guess they're in London.
Yeah, they're in London again. Whoa.
All right, so we got Eagles Jaguars, both in a away game. Who do you got for tomorrow? The Jaguars really need this.
The Jags really do need this, right? Because this is literally make or break. And I really don't understand their infatuation with Blake Bortles. I never understood why they give him that extension. But beyond that, okay. The Eagles are clicking at the right time. I'm actually going to go with the Jaguars because Blake Bortles actually has an unbeaten record in London. I'm just going to say that this is like a make or break period for him, and he's got to really figure out.
Does he really?
Yeah, really? Yeah. He is unbeaten in London. Because the Jaguars, they're the default London team because the owner is I think British and also has access to a soccer club out there. So they really try to have him go over once a year. But besides that, this is a big time for Blake Bortles to show up. So I'm gonna go with the Jags on this one.
Okay. I mean, the Jaguars lost 4 out of their last 5 games. Wow. I don't trust Blake Bortles anywhere. And they just picked up Eric Flowers for their offensive line with a quarterback that the coach already threw under the bus, saying, hey, we may make a change, and that change would be to Cody Kessler. I am Eagles all day. Okay. So, all right, so that's the 9:30 game. All right, so we have the Jets at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are 3-3. They're a far better team than the Jets. But the Jets, I have a good feeling about the Jets tomorrow. I'm going Jets on the road. Interesting.
Okay. Listen, this Bears team is much improved. Their defense is way better. Still can't trust the Trubisky kid. They have 2 talented running backs between Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Mac is a beast. And the game is in Chicago. I'm gonna go with Chicago on this one just because I know that the Jets have a lot of weapons on the offensive side injured. So I'm gonna go with Chicago on that one.
Okay. Now Tampa Bay with Winston back, and I don't know. I guess I discussed with you on the phone that people are talking this craziness about Winston's gonna sit the year and Fitzpatrick is gonna play, and I said it's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Okay, the magic only lasts a little bit. Rabbit out of the hat. Okay, show me another trick.
Yeah,
you got one more. So Now they're back with Jameis Winston, who I'm a huge fan of. I have Tampa Bay over a quarterback that so they're playing it in Cincinnati, and I am not a fan of the Red Rocket. So I'm going Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay all day. My boy Mike Evans.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, again, it's really confusing when you see these quarterbacks that Fitzpatrick is a journeyman quarterback, right? So I just find it hard to believe that somehow, some way that this team was, or I really don't think that the team was even really considering that they were going to sit these guys down, sit them down for the whole year because they know that Jameis Winston is a franchise. I feel like Fitzpatrick is a known commodity. We know what he can do. He was great with those Jets teams for a couple of seasons, really kind of got him close enough to the playoffs, whatever. But again, he's a journeyman quarterback for a reason. He's a guy that teams are not willing to invest because they know what his ups and downs are and they know what his limitations are. Great game manager. He's going to be great for a team if they need 3 or 4 games from a quarterback. And that's exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers needed from him. And he played great in those games. But the fact that you thought you were going to sit Winston down is preposterous. And so what I'm going to go with here, Cincinnati got crushed last week. And they got crushed really badly. So I'm going to say they're going to come back firing, and they're going to be excited to be back home. So I'm going to go Cincy on this one.
Okay. And you know what? For people who don't know, because this was a regular thing when we had Coast to Coast Sports, we would go ahead and we would do these picks for every single week. And there's a lot of smack talk. Sometimes there's bets that are made, but
that's right.
From week 8 to 17, we're gonna have a competition on who gets the most picks here and blah blah blah. So it will be a thing. It'll be a lot of trash talking. It's kind of like a fantasy type atmosphere, which I know.
That's right.
Which I know the listeners will know a lot about. So now we have Seattle on the road to Detroit, who now, and they're both 3-3. And Detroit now has Snacks Harrison, which the Giants have backed up the truck and said, just give us a 5th round pick. We know he's worth a 2nd rounder or a 3rd rounder, but definitely a 3rd rounder. Let's I got to go Detroit. I like Detroit. Okay. And, Matt Patricia, who I wanted as the Giants head coach.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Look, Seattle's a confusing team. You really don't know which team is going to show up week to week. I still don't think they have enough offensive pieces around Russell Wilson. I think, again, we're going to look at Russell Wilson and we're going to call him an Eli Manning eventually as well, too. Different because he's mobile. But I think in terms of Russell Wilson's best teams and times are when he has an excellent defense around him, okay? And when they control the clock with running the ball, et cetera, I think that's where he excels. I don't know that Russell Wilson... I'm sorry. This is a jock strap, okay? Yeah.
Russell Wilson can't hold Eli's.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay?
Really?
Okay? What the heck are you talking about?
Wow.
Don't get me rowdy up in here.
Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that because we'll say that for another segment.
Okay.
We'll have to say that for another segment because
next week we're gonna have to kick off the show.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson versus Eli.
So
sounds now the fiance is saying morning girls. Who is she talking to?
No, I'm not too sure. Actually, we have Airbnb guests here, so.
Hold up. So
yep.
we're doing Air EnB live.
That's right.
You have Airbnb guests.
That's right. It's air all day, man. That's right.
You're doing Air EnB on the Airbnb. Now.
That's right, man. Air all day, baby. You know it.
Hold up. So you're telling me that I can – so what is the cost if I want, okay, so where they're staying in an extra bedroom?
Yeah, we have a second bedroom. Yep, correct.
So if I were in the Bay Area and I wanted to stay at the residence of Swaggy E and fiance, and by the way, what's her name, by the way?
Zoe.
Okay. So Swaggy E and fiance Z. Okay. If I wanted to stay there, what would be the cost of admission to the residence?
We'd have to talk about a negotiated rate, but you know, you're looking at anywhere from about 65 to 75.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing crazy.
Okay. And is there anything accommodating in these rooms? Is there, you have you have an air conditioner? You have an air conditioner?
You know, that's the great thing about here, man. You never need that. It never gets hot enough for that. So yeah, just not needed. A little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea, some bagels, just the like basic necessities.
Oh, man. You guys do bagels and coffee? You give that to the guests?
Yeah. If they want it, it's available, man.
Okay. That's so they have free reigns to the kitchen, huh?
Well, somewhat. We try to control that in somewhat. A lot of people, it's just kind of coming and going, right? So they'll get a lot of their stuff outside, but yeah, no, it's a nice little side hustle, right?
And does everyone that stay get a nice, beautiful greeting from your fiance, like what I just heard in the background?
I mean, I believe so. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're not getting that from me, but yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Okay. It sounded very inviting. I'm just trying to.
It is, man. Yeah.
Okay. I see you getting uncomfortable, so I'll move on.
No, man. No, dude. This is. It's life, man.
Well, I'll tell you, I was looking for recently, actually, for a friend of mine's wedding, and I was searching, Airbnbs, and one guy actually leaves a bottle of champagne and chocolates by the bedside.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So just giving you ideas.
I mean, yeah, that sounds costly if you wanted to do that, but we can again for all future guests, if they like to negotiate something like that, we can do a little negotiation on the side, so I can add that to your stay. So,
I could tell you do finance for a living because everything is negotiation.
It has to
everything
be.
We could talk.
That's right.
All right.
Everything is left for negotiation, right?
That's interesting. You got the side hustle going, okay? And is this side hustle going to continue through when you're married and everything?
You know what? We'll see. It was really just making short-term use of the second room for right now. So it'll go on for another maybe about a half a year or so, and we'll reevaluate in the future. So that's a good thing about it. It's like you stop when you want, go when you want. So that I think that kind of convenience is awesome.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when I come for the wedding, do I have to negotiate with you, or can I stay?
I'm trying to figure out who's going to be staying here. So that might be my folks or her folks, but we'll see. Because I'm thinking we're probably just going to stay in the city, get like a little hotel situation, just be centrally located. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
all right. So, in other words, I'm not invited. All right. So let's move. So on a non-wedding day, I can stay for free, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime, dude. Anytime.
Okay. Yes, so you had. Oh my gosh! I forgot your pick. Who did you have?
I don't even know if I even got to it at this point. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go Detroit. This is a Seattle team I still can't trust, and I still don't know who they really are.
All right, we're on the same page there. Okay. Now we might definitely be on the same page with this one. Denver, who's reeling. They look terrible to me. I know their record is a losing record, but they seem worse to me. They're 3-4, taking on the highlight of the league. My man Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, wow.
6-1. Hopefully this doesn't come off on the rebroadcast, but I'm hearing like a little feedback.
Really, right now?
On me when I talk.
Okay, got you.
Hopefully it's not on the live, but
I'm not. Yeah, I don't hear that when you're talking. So
okay, well that's good. So,
okay.
Man, I hear it in delay too. All right, well we'll figure out the setup for next time if it comes up on the rebroadcast. It's slight, but I've been doing radio since I was 17 years old.
Right,
so
right.
I can pick up on these things, but I hear myself on a feedback. But it may not show up. Anyway, of course I have Kansas City. Who do you got?
Same here, man. This team, it's just really fun to watch. You really just look at this team and I think he's been on 3 or 4 primetime games now. So the NFL is doing a good job of getting him in front of our eyes because I think he's must-watch TV. He's absolutely must-watch TV. And so I got to go KC in this one.
That man is unbelievable. I am so obsessed with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I've been listening to his interviews because I think I'm a huge fan of the Dan Patrick Show. It's a great listen. And I love when he's got Reggie Miller on and certain people on. And he had on a great baseball player recently, Johnny Bench.
Okay. Wow.
He had on Johnny Bench, for a full interview. He had on a great interview with Ray Allen recently.
Wow.
And Ray Allen was saying he could still play. But we're about to and in terms of NBA,
does he really think that though? Does Ray Allen really think that? Or I don't know.
Well, this is where he was delusional. Yes, can he play? Yes, he looks in phenomenal shape, let me tell you. Okay. And we all know he said he still gets out there and practices his threes. Okay. And we all know he was a meticulous practicer. Practice?
Yeah.
Okay, he was a meticulous practicer. So he used to be out there like Larry Bird before the games, like Steph Curry. He used to be out there like that practicing shooting. Well, he said he's good to go. I believe him. But where he was saying that he can still be a great contributor, not a guy that comes off the bench for 12, 15 minutes, in crunch time to spread the defense. He's talking about he could average 15 a game type stuff. That's where he was delusional.
Yeah. I'm sorry. These old guys, man, they don't really realize just how much the wear and tear of traveling and just the wear and tear of everyday games takes a toll on you. And so I think what happens is that these guys take a few years off and it's like, man, yeah, those aches and pains are gone. But it's like, get into the daily grind and it's like, oh, it's back. Chris Bosh is still talking about he wants to come back.
He actually said he wanted to go to the Knicks. So let's hold off because let's finish these picks really quickly. Yeah. Then we're gonna do Knicks, Lakers, and of course the fight, and then we'll be off. So we're not gonna be on that much longer. Let's run through these picks actually.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes was on the Dan Patrick Show. Amazing. He was talking about how his family thought he was going to be baseball all the way because his father was in the league. Was actually on my Mets, which I remember him. And so he's unbelievable. But we have weeks to talk about him plus the playoffs. So so Washington at the Giants. I'm going to go Giants, and I'll tell you why.
Oh wow.
We're reaching the light part of the schedule for the Giants. Okay. And they're going to go and screw up their draft pick and win a bunch of these games. So, so I'm going Giants because they're going to beat Washington.
Okay. There's nothing in recent history that tells me that the Giants are going to turn anything around. So I'm going to go Washington, especially after they had that big pick. And I think my headphones just died. So speakers, it's going to be. No. Oh, hold on a second.
All right, but can you hear me though?
I hear you. So I'm thinking that at this point,
do it like this. You know what? I don't hear the feedback anymore. That's probably what it was. The feedback was going into your microphone.
Was it really?
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay,
but I don't hear it anymore. Maybe we may have to do this from now on. All right. Okay. Anyway, so go ahead. You're saying nothing in recent. Nothing in recent history.
There's nothing in recent history that shows me that I should be picking the Giants in anything right now. The defense can't stop anybody. The O-line is barely protecting Eli at certain points, and when they do, sure, it looks good, but then sometimes Eli's not even sticking the throws he needs to make. So I'm going Washington, man. I think they're just going to roll with this division right now. I'm going with the Skins.
Okay, Dog Pound versus the Steelers. They're at Pittsburgh. So the Cleveland's 2-4-1. Pittsburgh is 3-2-1. I had Pittsburgh. I believe this is going to be Roethlisberger's last year. So he's going to give everything this year. Both teams don't look that good at all, but I'm going Pittsburgh in this one. Who you got?
I'm going to go with a hot take. I'm going to go with Cleveland. I know they tied that first game, but I think Blake. I think Baker's actually a pretty good quarterback, and so I see a lot of promise in his future. I'm gonna go with Cleveland in this one.
Baker Mayfield. Okay, so now we have Baltimore 4-3 going to Carolina 4-2. This is also an old inside joke from Coast to Coast Sports, but I'm rolling with Cam.
Oh man,
I'm rolling with Cam.
Yeah.
I will say though, Baltimore's defense looks unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. Carolina, they're still. I mean, they're not anything like that Super Bowl year. They really aren't. Plus, he lost Kelvin Benjamin now, and he lost the cornerback. So, and Norman. So, they're just not the same team. And I feel bad for Cam because I like him so much.
And Greg Olson's been hurt on and off all year, and I think was it Luke Kuechly? Isn't he out again? So they just always have and what's his name? The other they had another like really impressive linebacker that was just out of this world. Thomas maybe. I might be getting that wrong, but it's just not the same team from that Super Bowl team. And man, you wish that Cam would have won it then because that would have been great for him to have. I just don't know if he'll ever get back at that point. I'm gonna go Baltimore in this one.
Okay, now we got my man Andrew Luck on the road against Oakland, who is traded now. Listen, they got fleeced in the Mac deal to the Bears, but man, did they
they recouped on the Cooper deal? Yeah.
Oh my! I don't know what Dallas was thinking, giving up a first rounder for Amari Cooper, who's underperformed his entire career. Does he have incredible talent? Yes.
He performed well the first 2 seasons, but hasn't been able to match his success since then.
Even that was off and on. Like definitely the second year, even that was off and on. Yeah. Some weeks he looks unbelievable. The next week, he's an upgraded Sammy Watkins.
Wow.
But I listen. Luck is going to go in there. He's going to do what Luck does, and they're going to disappoint Oakland. And Gruden has already mailed it in my opinion. He's thinking about next year, and he can't wait to get Derek Carr out of there anyway.
I feel like that is the case as well too. And I was looking at a tweet from I don't know who it was at this point, but if they were to waive Carr after the season, they would save like $19 million in the cap. And that's a lot of money, right? But it's just like, okay, what other quarterback are you getting out there that's going to be better than this guy? And I'm not saying that Carr is top notch, but for what you're already paying him. You might as well just hold on to him from right now. But maybe Carr just isn't his guy.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna go Indy on this one.
Okay, I got. I'm trying to find Derek Carr's. I was trying to find what was guaranteed to the guy. Okay. So in that $70 million contract, he had 12.5 guaranteed.
Okay.
So they get 2 seasons out of it. Okay. This is my thing though. This is my thing. I never believed that Colin Kaepernick was being blackballed from the league. Okay. If it was Aaron Rodgers, if it was Andrew Luck, if it was Mahomes, if it was any other exceptional young quarterback that doesn't need a proper system in front of him, if it was Cam Newton, so let's take a black player as well. If it was Cam Newton, he would be out of work a week. they're not blackballing talent like that. It's because Kaepernick, needs a system to succeed.
Yeah, I
But
agree. I agree.
Now I'm starting to buy into it a little bit because you have horrible quarterbacks in this league. And if Oakland gets rid of Carr, the best available out there is Bridgewater or Kaepernick. Okay, if you don't go Bridgewater, why would you not go Kaepernick if that's the case?
Yeah.
So all right, so let's move on now. Now we have Green Bay at 3-2-1 at the undefeated 7-0 Rams. Green Bay on the road. Listen, the Rams are going to neutralize Jimmy Graham and what Green Bay can do. And Green Bay is never the same team on the road, which is a positive that I give to Eli on the road. He excels as well. Listen, the Rams are going to be 8-0. They're going to do what they do. Does Green Bay have a shot because they have, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the league? Yeah, you have a shot. Not a good one. Rams are 8-0.
Yeah, couldn't say it any better. I think the Rams will take this one as well, too.
All right, let's move on. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this nonsense, but San Francisco 1-6 at the Cardinals 1-6. It doesn't even. I'm going home team. I'm going Cardinals.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's been bad to watch both teams, but I'm gonna go Niners on this one. I think Beathard's actually been playing decently well for what they're asking him to do. So
that first game, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even though they lost it,
right.
Next year they rebound. And hopefully they get Garoppolo. Well, Garoppolo will be back next year.
Garoppolo's going to be back, but the whole thing is that they're going to have another high draft pick. So I'm thinking, man, why not go? Why not go with another offensive lineman? Why not go with a stud wide receiver? Whatever's available, wherever you are drafting. But definitely another offensive piece. They definitely are still lacking on the back end of the defense, so they can go. They can go a couple of routes.
Yeah, I would maybe go edge rusher or something like that. Absolutely. I think it's too high, or like you said, offensive lineman, too high to go running back or wide out.
Yeah.
Now New Orleans 5-1 against Minnesota 4-2-1. That will be the. By the way, the Green Bay game is one that I'm looking forward to, which is at 4:25. Now, as I'm looking the 8:20 game, New Orleans at Minnesota. Of course, New Orleans, just the same when they're not in the dome, they're not the same. Minnesota's got a good defense and a very good team, but I'm gonna go the Saints on this one.
Yeah, same here, man. Breeze has been playing excellent. They got Ingram back, changes up how they play. I'm gonna go Saints with on this one as well too.
Okay, and final one. This should be quick too. We have some team called the Patriots at 5-2. Oh, but they're on the road against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Monday night. I have the Pats. Who you got?
I can't pick the Bills on this one. So easy. I mean, there's really not much to discuss, right? Because I think, what is it, Peterman that's still playing? Man, that's the Monday night game?
Monday night game.
Wow. New England, easy.
Yeah, because they had to bench the quarterback they drafted because he's just not ready.
Well, not only I think it's really because he's injured, but yes, I agree, he's not ready.
Okay, I didn't hear. All right, it might be.
Yeah, it was a shoulder injury that really started, but he had a couple of games that were. I mean, remember that game that they beat Green Bay, right? It was like they almost shut him out.
What about the game that they beat Minnesota?
Yeah, right. Oh, well, right. They almost shut out Minnesota. Excuse me.
Josh Allen. And when he shut me out of a survivor pool, and that was it.
Yeah.
All right, let's finalize here with the NBA. Let's go Knicks, and then of course the Lakers. Also, once again, it's early season. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. Because how much is there to say about the Knicks as you rock the hat there? Your Knicks hat, the problem is we really can't evaluate, so we're going to really hold off. But we can't evaluate until Kevin Knox gets back.
Right.
So because Porzingis is out, we can't even see it. So we're already analyzing the team without Porzingis. Now we're analyzing without the first round draft pick.
Yeah.
You can't do that, you know. But
Yeah.
the sample size that we did see, I can say Trey Burke will be serviceable for the year. Cantor continues as a double machine. I want to see more of the tall guy that can block.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I want to see more of him. Okay, I've also been missing those games. Like, actually, I want you to give input on last night's game because I missed it. I came home after the game. Yeah. But I will say Tim Hardaway has been stepping up, and of course Frank, he's doing what he does, man. He's defense, defending. You don't expect much. Courtney Lee, they have to find a place to shop Courtney Lee. He's just wasting time here. You know, he's a veteran player. But what was your take on last night's game?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. You know, if an NBA game was 3 quarters and not 4, they would have won that game. That's the issue, right? You look at what a good team the Warriors are, and they have the ability to kind of slow the game down and make some good substitutions. And the one thing that I would say is that a lot of times they have a lot of people don't give Steve Kerr credit and say they don't give him credit to make the correct substitution and whatnot. But he made a couple of substitutions in the third quarter where he replaced some guys that just weren't rebounding, and you know, they basically stopped all the offensive rebounding and the second chances that a lot of Knicks were getting in the third quarter, and that would close out the gap. So, you know, we do have to give Steve Kerr for making the in-game adjustment to slow the game down. Took a chance by putting in a younger player that wasn't shooting all that well, and they trusted him towards the end. And, you know, they ended up pulling out the game towards the end. From what I can see from the Knicks perspective, what I'm really liking so far, and it's hard to gauge because they don't have, again, like you said, their 2 best players, but really it's just I think the ability for them to swarm to the ball, I was really seeing that really well. They were hustling back on defense, which was something that they were lacking the last few years. They were playing they weren't playing the pick and roll all that great in the third quarter because that's where KD was, or excuse me, in the fourth quarter, because that's where KD was just taking them apart, which is a high pick and roll screen, and then KD would just take it over the screen and just just pop it for 3. So I think they're heading in the right direction, and if you're looking at it from that perspective, without them even having their 2 best players, then it's like, man, and once they get KP back and they get Knox back, then we're looking at some like a good unit, but still there's still a lot that needs to be improved. I would have to say 3-point shooting is definitely still is something that's going to be an issue. I don't see Trey Burke as an excellent 3-point shooter. Frank Ntilikina is still not an excellent 3-point shooter. I think Tim Hardaway is better. It's getting better with every season, and obviously when he has a green light like he does right now, he's a great volume shooter. And he's going to score at will at this point because he's their only scorer.
He's got a fire under him this year. He seems like he's out to prove people wrong.
Yeah, and I hope so.
And it's not the contract, because the contract was last year, and I think he's playing far better ball this year. So that shows that in the offseason, and his father had a great work ethic, but it shows in the offseason he's been focused. He's been he did something in that offseason. He was out there practicing and getting shots up and working on whatever he needed to work on. And good for him, because that's what they need, and he's going to be here for a couple more years. Yeah. And that's that. But once again, we'll have to cross that bridge when it comes. So we're moving on from the Knicks. Now we're going to the final piece of the show. We're going to talk about the Lakers. Now, let's talk about the fight. Did you think Rondo spit purposely in Chris Paul's face? There was definitely spit that landed. Now, in talking tonight, I had a couple Spurs that came out. talking today. It's just today. So
it happens. It happens, right?
Now, was that an intentional loogie to the face?
You'll never know. I would say, sure, we've never really seen this in Rondo's past to say, yeah, oh, this is like, he's a spitter, he's this, he's a dirty guy. But there's definitely been things in his past where you can say,
he's definitely
okay,
a dirty guy. Oh, I'm sorry.
oh,
Okay.
well, what I was
okay.
saying, maybe not on the spitting level, but like, there's definitely some other stuff that you can say, like, okay, this is definitely in line with who Ray John is, right? And so I think the way that Chris Paul reacted, I would have to say that there had to have been something. I'm not saying Chris Paul is this great guy, but yeah, I would think that I'd have to think and say that, yeah, it did happen. Because that was the only way that escalated that situation to that point.
Well, spit definitely landed. Landed. Now, I think Paul was going by the type of player Rondo is in his past and saying, wait a second, I just felt spit on my face. I know it came from you, and I know what type of player you are. Plus, they were jawing right before that. And Rondo was pissed because Paul took him to the hole twice, including one where he flexed his bicep at him. So he was a little tight, and, he may have just a little quick one. You never know. You never know. But
I mean, he did say he had a mouthpiece on, which, like he said, would be really hard to do, and so I get that. I hear it. I hear Rondo's perspective, but I again, his history doesn't say anything to me to say that he is not capable of spitting in somebody's face. I think it's just totally in line with what I think the kind of player that Rondo is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I thought Ingram was a piece of garbage. I've always been a huge fan of Ingram. I do like Kuzma better, but
yeah.
So I think Kuzma is their best forward. But, well, we know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know.
Besides the man. But I think that, Ingram coming over and hitting a guy 6 feet when you're 6'8". I mean, especially unexpected. It wasn't one-on-one. This guy, everything's been wrapped up, and there's a little bit of a tussle, and you come in and just blast the guy right in the face. And that's why when LeBron was holding him aside, you see Paul like, when you get punched in the face, as maybe both of us have been in the past. Yeah. You get hit, you're playing, you get elbowed, all that type of stuff. There's a delayed reaction. So James was pulling him aside, and then you see Paul like, oh, because he started to feel it because Ingram got him a flush hit. Ingram's a piece of garbage. That's why he got more games than everybody else.
Well, was it a clean shot? I felt like it was like he didn't connect.
No, he got him.
Okay,
he got him very flush. I mean, look at it again. He was in the tussle, and Ingram came from this side and wham.
Okay.
Right. And I think it was around the eye socket area.
Got you.
I didn't slow-mo. I don't work in, I'm not in Secaucus, New Jersey, but that was, I don't know, but that was, I don't know what you're thinking, but that's why he got more games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was the one who initiated just pushing James Harden out of the way.
Yeah, I know. It escalated on many levels. It didn't even have to go that route.
No. But it was, I will say, it was one of the best fights in a long time. I was entertained. I saw it live. I thought it was where punches were thrown and landed, and Chris Paul with the and Rondo with the left touch right on the jaw.
Listen, man.
Did you see your boy Mayweather at the fight? Mayweather was right there because he was on the side of the Laker bench, whatever. He was on the side of the fight. And as Chris Paul is being walked off by, I forgot what other player. It might have been LeBron. I'm not sure. Was walking him off. You see Mayweather try to talk to them, but they're in a different zone. And Mayweather's like, like that, and then they're not even paying attention to him, and then he just stops. But Mayweather was all hype, and he's such a clown. I love him.
It's that Mayweather effect, right? He was in the building, so they wanted to show him his hands,
Yeah, and somebody while the fight was going on, his boy was like patting him on the shoulder. See, that would be me. I would be egging like yo. So he was giving Chris Paul some pointers on that. So
that's so fun,
so
man.
he was good. If you can, if the audience can, go on YouTube and check that out again. I saw it live. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
All right, so we're done with the fight. So the last thing is just and once again, great fight. But because we got all excited for Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning and all that. You never really. That was probably the best fight I've seen since maybe Chris Childs.
Yeah.
Who did it go up? Was it Kobe?
Kobe and Chris Childs?
Yeah, wasn't there some punches landed there?
Yeah, no, for sure. There definitely was. There definitely was. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that's probably the best one I've seen thus far, because a lot of the other ones is just a whole bunch of miss punches and flailed throwing.
Yeah, what was Alonzo and them doing? They're like,
I don't know.
I don't know what was going on. I mean, I don't know why your fist isn't like this, but
the problem is that because these players play with their hands, right? So you break it, that's their money makers right there, right? So I don't know.
That's true. That's why you got to go the karate route.
Tiger claw.
and save those knuckles,
That's right. That's right.
So in general, so wrapping up the show here, I've thoroughly enjoyed what LeBron is doing with this team. I thoroughly enjoyed what he's doing with the Lakers. They're on tonight. I can't wait to catch that game. I got to see who they're facing. But I know they're facing a late night game because I seen it. Sort of, So my night will be the Red Sox Dodgers World Series crossing into my man LeBron, which should be on TV, whether NBA TV or whatever, what have you. But I'll tell you what, I was not a fan of Lonzo Ball. I will say, last year I did not think he was a very good defender.
Okay.
This year he's showing me something, including in that Denver game when he pickpocketed one of the guards beautifully.
Was it Murray?
It might have been Jamal Murray.
Okay.
You might be right.
The Nuggets are going to be scary this year. Just a little side note, just so you know.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me nothing.
Yeah. No.
You ain't talking nothing but a word, man. You got Jamal Murray. You got Harris. You have, who knows, a Michael Porter Jr., okay? You got Millsap.
Oh, I forgot about that, right? I mean, is he going to sit down the whole season? Is that what they're saying? He should be sitting down the whole season.
I did not hear that.
Okay.
I heard he's coming back after the break. But who knows? It's a back. That's why I'm glad the Knicks didn't draft him. And I thought their players are at it. I mean, their fans were out of their minds at that draft saying, oh, we didn't get him. When they picked Kevin Knox because Sexton went to Cleveland. I wanted Sexton. When he went to Cleveland, I thought Knox was the best player on that board afterwards. Yeah. And I was a fan of his. Once again, I do my research. I'm not a big college basketball fan, but I do my research on these players. And at that time on my board, I had Sexton and Knox, hands down. And I was hoping that Trae Young would go somewhere, and they would.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm still holding off my. I need to see more from him to see how he's going to develop as an NBA player.
Once again, he's on a bad Atlanta team, so
I know.
We got a
stat compiler.
We got a stat compiler like Dominic Wilkins, right?
I'm telling you, man, it's
he dropped 39 the other night.
He's gonna drop a lot of points, right? I mean, he's their main go-to. I think it's just him and John Collins, so there really isn't much right there in terms of offense. So yeah, he's got the J.R. Smith green light, so.
Also on the Lakers, that Williams kid, I want to see more of him, but he's looking all right. I like him too. Yeah. So Ingram's coming back soon. Kuzma starting doing this thing, scoring 20-something points a game. I don't even know why he's ever on the bench. Kuzma is the second best player on the team, and I think they're crazy not to start him. Magic Johnson's so involved. I'm loving it, but Ball just picked him like beautifully with the left hand. So who was probably Murray? I'm not sure. One of the guards was Murray or Harris was going right. He just picked him. Bang! Time out, Denver.
Yeah.
I'm really loving it. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think Ball and LeBron was going to function well on the court because they're so similar, and LeBron likes shooters for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But Ball was finding him with little, like he's hooking up LeBron with easy baskets. Listen, he's never going to be a superstar. I'm saying it right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But what he can be is he can be a poor man's Jason Kidd. But he's got to get that three-point shot. Poor man's. He's got to get that three-point shot. Because if he continues amping up his defense, he's already passing well. He already rebounds incredibly well for a guard. And he's 6'6". If he now adds that three-point shot, he's a focal point of any championship team. A great role player of any championship team.
Yeah, yeah.
You want him as your third best player. Yeah,
yeah. Listen, and I look at it and I said the young parts, I would say, of the Lakers are good. I still want to see how. My issue with the Lakers is that it's kind of the same issue with the Cavs. They just still don't have enough shooters. So we just want to continue to see that these guys can shoot the ball. We know Rondo's not going to get any better at that. We know, Lance Stevenson, that's just not his game. So I need to see that can Kuz shoot from 3-point range, because it's not just about slowing the pace down, right? It's really about like, okay, if you're making 2-pointers, these guys are making 3-pointers. That's still one more point per basket that they're getting. And so if you look at how like Mike D'Antoni likes to play the game, right? It's like, on average, right? You make 43s and this team makes, 42s. Think about how many more points you've already down with that amount. And so it's like they just have to get better at shooting, and that's going to be this main issue with this Lakers team going forward. So if they can, get that in order, they have a ton of passers, they have a ton of young guys that are willing to defend. They're not competing for anything this year. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs. If I'm going to put a game total on the Lakers this year, I'm going to go 47 wins.
I think it sucks that 47 might be a little high. I think it sucks.
I agree. Yes.
That they might break even 41-41, but wow. I think it sucks that, LeBron is throwing a year away. He's already 33. What are you going to do? He didn't want to go to Philly. He didn't want to be in that town. And he would also hamper. I don't think it was good for Philly to even take.
It wasn't going to be good for Ben Simmons.
It was exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. But you're right. It seemed like they went after veteran guys who can play defense, just in case they get the 8th seed and they face Golden State. Hey, if we have defensive players, how will Golden State compare? You got LeBron, Kuzma, Ball, Stevenson, and Rondo. Mm-hmm. Those are the 5 best defensive players on the team, and you have 3 of them are definitely exceptional, and 2, and then you have you have Kuzma and Ball as your other 2. Well, can we make it a series?
Yeah,
I think that's their thinking, just to see. But their best 3-point shooter is definitely Josh Hart, and hey, 3-point shooters you can pick up at the deadline. Who says they can't get a Jared Dudley or somebody like that at the deadline? They can pick up something like that.
Yeah.
You are right. It is strange. But I'll say this on Stevenson, and that game against the Nuggets in the 4th quarter, Stevenson took over for a little bit, and you saw they can't stop him going to the hole. He's still a very, very difficult drive to the hoop. Mm-hmm. He's very hard to stop, and I'll tell you why. You don't know whether he's going left or right. He's not like James Harden. He's not like Ginobili, where they're incredible, drivers to the hoop, and they get on that free throw line, but you know that they're going left 75% of the time. Mm-hmm. Stevenson, you don't know. He can finish great left or right, and Stevenson, he was driving to the hole, and he was getting in there, and he driving again on the next possession, and he was getting in there. Stevenson does not know his worth. That's his problem. He's his own worst enemy. Stevenson can still average 17 to 18 points a game. He can still be that Indiana Pacer Stevenson.
Yeah.
But he gets caught up in the other things. And I know he has to expend energy on rebounding, on defense. And I know he passes well. I understand that. But he can still do it all. Right. And he just doesn't know it. And I hope LeBron drills that into him. Like, hey, if I'm on the floor with you and Kuzma, you're my number 2, dude. I mean, sorry, you're my number 3, dude. They got to defend me. They got to defend Kuzma. They got to worry about us. You're the third option. You can get easy buckets. And you know what? He dropped threes that night. He can drop threes, and he needs to work on that. That guy, you know, we don't see him do it often, so you think he can't do it anymore. But he showed me the other night he can still do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah. And again, it's the early part of the season. It's just about can he keep his stamina and his legs under him for the whole 82-game season.
And he can, you know,
yeah.
He can.
Yeah.
So we'll pick up. So next week, fresh show. Let's do it. We'll figure out the day. We'll post on the Twitter. We'll let people know that, hey, we're going on tonight, such and such time, or this morning if we do Sunday, and that's it. And continue to build that brand, but there won't be a hiatus like there was.
Not again until there's honeymoon time. But until then, that is correct.
That's right. All right, cool. All right. So that's it. That's it. Yes, and sir. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir, man. Pleasure.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.